Okay, so welcome back. And today I want to talk to you about the upcoming housing crisis and why it is going to be worse than the 2008 to 2010 crisis. So let's get on it. Okay, so there are some warning signs in the housing markets that are not being reported, but you need to know about. There is an awful lot of denial going on in the housing industry and among economists. Okay, so a few days ago, I did a report for you showing you that about 46% of Americans cannot handle a $400 emergency. Number of Americans able to afford $400 surprise bill slides in era of Bidenomics. So almost half of all tax-paying adults do not have enough cash to cover a $400 emergency, an unexpected expense, right? Well, what do you think the percentages are of the people who have mortgages who cannot cover the cost of a 1-month mortgage payment? A lot of people out there are living hand to mouth. Now, there are a lot of realtors out there saying that there is kind of a boycott of people or a seller's strike, people who are refusing to sell their houses because they don't want to. That's not what's going on. Let me tell you what the untold truth is. The untold truth is most people cannot afford to get out of their current house to get into another house because the mortgage that they're currently in was acquired when the mortgage was at 1 or 2 or 3%. So if they sold their existing house and got rid of their existing mortgage to buy a newer house, the interest rate on that new mortgage is going to be more than double. We're talking about more than 100% increase in the interest rates. So a lot of people are in jail. They're in real estate jail, okay? They're staying in their houses not because they want to, but because they have to, because they can't afford any other options. And this is going to lead to a disaster going forward. Now, there are 4 things that make up every mortgage, right? Principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. And there's been a recent development that everyone should be really aware of. 2 major insurance companies are pulling out of the state of California, and 4 major insurance companies are pulling out of the state of Florida. They're just leaving these states altogether. People in California who have existing mortgages, they've been getting notices from their insurance companies saying that they're dropping their insurance. Now, right now, you're thinking, well, wait a minute. They have a contract, don't they? As long as they keep up on insurance payments, they can't do anything, right? They have ways out. There's a few stories of people who have pools in their yard, and the people could not afford the water for their pools anymore, so they drained the pools of the water. And the insurance company flew drones over the house and took pictures of their backyard showing the pool. And they said, hey, that is an unacceptable risk. What if somebody fell in and broke their neck? I mean, having pools is not a good idea, by the way, guys, from an insurance perspective. But whether it's a pool or something else, they're looking for excuses to close out the policies because they're leaving the states of California and Florida altogether. And this affects everybody else in the country. I mean, they're going to be losing a lot of money by cutting out 2 lucrative states, California and Florida. So they've got to make up those losses by increasing the rates on everyone else in the country. So let's go back to California and Florida, for example. If your insurance company just dropped you because you have a pool in your yard, maybe you live in an area that's prone to wildfires, whatever excuse they come up with. Now, right now, you're thinking, well, I'll just go find another insurance company. They're not all leaving the state. Here's the problem. All the other insurance companies, they're going to know that the other insurance company dumped you, and they're going to know why they dumped you. So they're not going to want to insure you either. Now, the terms of your mortgage requires you to have insurance. So you see where I'm going here? So I'm expecting a wave of foreclosures coming up because of this insurance issue. And it's going to start in California and Florida, and then it's going to work its way insidiously throughout the rest of the country. Americans are living hand to mouth. They don't have a lot of money set aside. If half the country cannot handle a $400 emergency bill, they certainly can't happen a 1-month or 2-month backlog in mortgage payments. And I'll throw in this little statistic. For the first time ever, U.S. consumers' credit cards have topped $1 trillion, which tells me that people out there are making ends meet by tapping their credit cards. And I just did a report for you yesterday telling you that there's a big credit crunch going on throughout the country, and lines of credit are being slashed left and right. So now people don't even have that as a fail-safe. So when you consider that we have real estate prices at all-time highs, we have a lot further to fall than we did back in 2008. On the one hand, the upcoming crisis is pretty good news for those of you who don't have any debt, who don't own a house right now, and you want to buy a house, but you're willing to wait a year or two. But this whole process of resetting the real estate market is going to be very painful. And as real estate goes down, every other industry in the country is also going to go down. Okay, so listen, I'm just another guy on YouTube, right? I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not giving you actual financial advice. I'm just giving you my opinion. But I've seen this movie before. So don't let yourself be a victim in any of this. Reduce your exposure to your bank, put a bunch of your money into gold and silver, and establish streams of passive recurring income. And if you want ideas about how to acquire your gold and silver and how to establish your passive recurring income, reach out to us. And as long as I have you trapped here, I want to sneak in another report here. This is on the climate issue. This is out of the hedge. Is Tonga's volcano eruption set to warm Earth? The Hunga Tonga Hunga Ha'apai undersea volcano eruption in January 2022 was larger than any nuclear blast conducted by the US, and the shock wave was felt worldwide. A new study reveals the eruption, which injected large amounts of water vapor into the stratosphere in an unprecedented way in our lifetime, might cause global temperatures to warm temporarily. Okay, I'm not going to read the whole story, but listen, you get it, right? Why bother with all of these 15-minute cities and electric vehicles? Anything we can possibly do to reduce CO2 can all be wiped out with one volcano eruption. And what are we going to do? Are we going to control volcano eruptions? You climate activists, you need to get a life, because the climate change statistics that you keep leaning on do not hold any water. Ed Anderson, live from Minnesota, signing out.
Copy that.